We were 3 months into our marriage. Finally, we had our honeymoon planned, and then my husband said something unbelievable. So, my parents will be joining us on our honeymoon. Excuse me? His parents? Joining our honeymoon? Is that even a thing? Not caring about my feelings. The audacity of it all. Well, I'm going to get back at him in my special way. My name is Estella. I married Theodore 3 months ago, and we finally became a couple, just as we always wanted. And at last, we've scheduled our honeymoon. We got married on our anniversary, but at the time we were both so busy at work that we couldn't even think about going on a honeymoon. Plus, a few years ago, an epidemic started to spread, making overseas travel a challenge. So we decided to go to Anchorage for our 4-night, 5-day honeymoon. Hey Theodore, I really want to go to the Alaska State Museum. I just want to eat good food, seafood, and traditional Alaskan dishes. That sounds great! Like lefse or a moose burger? Oh, and a berry dessert! You're more excited about the food than I am, Estella? Because I can't wait! We were worried that we might not be able to have our honeymoon, but now that we know we can, we're super excited. 2 days before our honeymoon. In the midst of our busy work, we were slowly getting ready for our trip. Just one more day of hard work, and then it's our honeymoon. We'll finally be free from our heavy workload and be able to relax the day after tomorrow. As I was happily packing in our room, Theodore came in. Oh, you're always so quick with your preparations. I haven't done anything yet. You always wait until the last minute, Theodore. If you forget anything because you're rushing, don't blame me. Okay, I'll be careful. Oh right, I have something to tell you, Estella. While continuing to pack, I responded, What? My parents will be joining us on our honeymoon. What? I unintentionally stopped what I was doing. Taken aback by his sudden statement, I nervously asked, Wait, Theodore, you did say honeymoon, right? Yeah, so? What do you mean your parents are coming with us? They want to come along, so they're coming. Our honeymoon is for us, right? That's what I'm saying. Aren't you getting it? No. Who's the one not getting it here? How did we end up inviting our parents to our honeymoon? In stark contrast to my anger, my husband seemed rather nonchalant. My parents are joining us on our honeymoon. He didn't seem to question it at all. Hey, Theodore? I thought a honeymoon was supposed to be a trip for the couple. Alone. Huh? Not huh. I mean, it's our honeymoon, right? It's our first trip as a couple, so why are your parents coming? Isn't that strange? What are you talking about? Theodore looked down at me with a puzzled expression. My parents want to come, so they're coming. It's not like it cancels our trip. Or what, you don't want my parents around? That's not it, but it's our honeymoon. I didn't realize you were such a self-centered person, Estella. I'm disappointed. After telling him just that, my husband left the room with a sigh, thinking only of myself. Who's doing that here? Ignoring my feelings and just approving his parents coming along with us? What's he thinking? Tomorrow, I need to talk to Theodore again. I have to stop his parents from coming. As I was packing, I tried to pump myself up. The next day, during lunch break, I sent a message to my husband. I want to talk when we get home. If I missed today, there would be no other chance. I had to express my feelings clearly and secure our honeymoon for just the two of us. Suddenly, my cell phone rang. It was a call from my mother-in-law. I had a bad feeling about this. Given my mother-in-law's nature, if I ignored the call, she would keep calling until I responded. I reluctantly answered the call. Hello? What the hell is going on, Estella? Mother, what's happened? Catching her breath, my mother-in-law yelled over the phone, Don't play dumb! This morning, Theodore told me. You refused to let us come along on the trip? What on earth is your intent? Refused? Well, this trip is a honeymoon for Theodore and me. So what? We can't come along when our own son is going on a trip? What's the problem? What's the problem? Generally speaking, it's quite odd for parents to come along on a honeymoon. What? So you're saying that we're unreasonable? How rude! This is hopeless. She doesn't get it at all. What the world sees as unreasonable seems reasonable to her. I need to stop this somehow. But on the other hand, I have no idea how. Unfazed by my despair, my mother-in-law's machine gun talk continued. Are you listening? To you, I'm already your mother! How could you behave this way towards your mother? Mother, please calm down first. Calm down in this situation? You should be grateful that you have us to supervise your honeymoon. Grateful? What is she talking about? She just wants to go to Anchorage for herself, right? This is our long-awaited honeymoon? Why do I have to be grateful? Even after that, my mother-in-law was far from satisfied. I won't tolerate such disrespect for parents, she shouted, and the call ended. When I got back from work, my husband was already back, drinking a beer on his own. "Oh, welcome back." His casual greeting irritated me, and I blurted out more harshly than intended. "It's not about welcome back. Your mom called me at work today. She made it seem like everything yesterday was my fault." "Why are you so angry?" "Wasn't it your fault for refusing my parents in the first place?" "That's not the point! Let me be clear, it's common sense that parents don't come on a honeymoon." Despite my desperate appeal, my husband sighed, looking annoyed. Ugh. My anger peaked, and I let out all the resentment I had been harboring. "Also, ever since we got married, your mom has been making snide remarks at me. That's why I absolutely can't go on a trip with her." "Snide remarks? My mom wouldn't say something like that." "Behind Theodore's back, no less, even after I've told you over and over on the phone." So it was. Only 3 months into our marriage, I was already on the receiving end of my mother-in-law's nastiness. We didn't see each other that much, so the direct harm wasn't too severe. "Are you preparing balanced meals? Send me photos as proof. You're deliberately avoiding showing your face, aren't you? After you stole Theodore from me." And such, I often received unpleasant remarks via phone and email. Anyway, that's the situation. I don't want to have a bad time up to our honeymoon. Dismissing my concerns as if they were stubbornness, my husband simply shrugged. "Hey, my mom isn't saying these things out of malice, right?" "Huh? You're still saying that even after I've explained this much?" "My mom is saying these things because she cares about you, Estella. Don't you want to be a good wife? Like my mom?" "Like my mom? A good wife like her? What is he talking about?" So to him, that's what a good wife looks like? At that moment, the tension snapped. If he's going to disregard my feelings that much, I have my own plans. I immediately contacted my parents and told them about my plan. Initially surprised, my parents quickly accepted my scheme. And then on the day of our honeymoon, as we headed to the airport, sure enough, my in-laws were already there. My mother-in-law grinned at me. "Estella, let's enjoy today, shall we?" She must have been thrilled that her son sided with her. She had a triumphant look on her face all along. But I was unfazed. I had my own secret plan after all. We safely arrived in Anchorage and began our sightseeing. Just as I'd imagined, my in-laws sandwiched my husband and had a blast, leaving me out in the cold. "Hey, Theodore, I want to eat seafood." "Mom, what a coincidence. I was thinking of eating seafood too." "Hey, I want to eat Lebkuchen." "Dad, you've always loved that kind of food, haven't you? Let's go drink some beer later." This was just a regular family vacation. It was far from a honeymoon. Estella, could you carry my luggage?" "What? Why should I?" Ignoring my raised eyebrows, my mother-in-law started rotating her shoulders. "My body has been aching lately. I want to enjoy this trip without any worries." "Well, this is supposed to be a honeymoon?" Then my husband glared at me and said, "Just carry it." At the same time, she thrust her bag at me. "Then thank you, Estella. Theodore, let's go eat seafood." "Hey, why don't you carry it?" "And about the seafood, Lebkuchen, and beer? I want to eat them too." 30 minutes later, we arrived at the restaurant and everybody ordered seafood. Might as well eat something delicious and distract myself. Just as I thought that, my mother-in-law pointed to the menu and said, "Estella, this cheapest one should be fine for you, right?" "Huh? You're the daughter-in-law. It's only natural that you order something cheaper than us, right?" "Are you kidding me? Why do you have to choose my menu?" The husband and father-in-law didn't utter a word, even as things got this heated. On the contrary, they were like, "Well, that's true. Well, she is the wife after all." And they even agreed with them. Just when my irritation was reaching its peak, a voice said, "Sorry to keep you waiting." The husband and the in-laws turned around and their eyes widened. There stood my parents. "Oh, Dad, Mom! Estella, sorry we're late. Thanks for inviting us this time." "It's been a while since your father went on a trip, so he's pretty excited." The sudden appearance of my parents made my husband intervene in a hurry. "Hey, what's going on here, Estella? Huh? What do you mean? I didn't hear anything about you inviting your parents. Don't decide things on your own. That's rude." "Rude? How come? Theodore invited his parents, so I just invited mine, that's all." Seizing the moment, my mother-in-law jumps into the conversation. "Wait a minute! Estella, what are you thinking? Inviting your parents without our consent, isn't that too uncivilized?" "Why so? Since you came with your family, I don't see why I can't invite my parents, do I?" Mother-in-law was clenching her teeth and glared at me. Seeing this, my mom stepped in. "Oh, mother-in-law, long time no see. Our daughter always tells us how much you care for her." Hello? Why are you here today? To this, my mom reacted with a confused look. Huh? Well, Estella told us apparently it's common to bring your parents on the honeymoon in Theodore's family. Can Mom and Dad come? Well, what a lovely tradition you have. Yeah, that's how it is. Perhaps because I had told them about being made to carry the luggage, this time my dad was pretending to have a bad back. Sorry, Theodore, my back's a bit bad. Can you carry this suitcase for me? Saying so, he half forcefully handed his luggage to Theodore. Huh? Well, father-in-law, about the luggage. That's not... Sorry. Ugh, it hurts. Guess I'm getting old. But you're a man, Theodore. You can handle a little luggage, can't you? Estella could do it. Right? Yes. At this, even my mother-in-law's face went pale. But it didn't stop there. Next came a counterattack from my mom. At a cafe where we stopped for a break, Mom pointed at the menu and said, Theodore, you'll be okay with the cheapest one here, won't you? Huh? Well, you're the son-in-law. It's only natural that you order something cheaper than us, right? This was the first time I saw my husband and in-laws so shaken. I couldn't help but burst into laughter, and my parents winked at me. Good job, Mom and Dad. I gave my parents a vigorous V sign. With the intervention of my parents, my husband and in-laws have been on their best. It seems they finally got the message when they got a taste of their own medicine. That night, in the hotel where we were staying, my husband approached me, bowing his head deeply. Estella, I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much of a hassle it would be to have my parents join us on this trip. So you finally get it now? I said, hands on my hips. The bag-carrying incident? The cafe incident? My parents did all that on purpose, just to help you understand how I feel, Theodore. Yeah, I get it. I'm really sorry. I'll have a word with my folks, too. Thanks! Remember, this is our honeymoon. After that, my husband convinced his parents to leave the next day. My parents also decided to go sightseeing on their own, saying, We'll go enjoy the sights and head back. And thus, on the second day, our true honeymoon began. Whether out of guilt or not, my husband prioritized the places I wanted to visit. He was constantly gauging my mood and seemed nervous, so I'm not sure if he enjoyed himself. Well, I guess that's his just desserts. He had put me through so much trouble, it's only fair he puts up with this. Towards the end of the trip, I made him buy lots of souvenirs for me. This was the least he could do to make amends, right? Even after we returned from our honeymoon, my husband continued to be considerate. He started to help out more around the house, and maybe, thanks to his persuasion, I haven't been getting those nasty emails from my mother-in-law. I'm not sure how long this situation will last. If there are any problems in the future, I'll seek help from my parents again. I have people who will protect me, who stand strong on my side. I am determined to live each day without strain, savoring this comforting